message over. Oh yeah, I meant to say with that actually, if you're getting any pings and stuff, you know, you get that noise and stuff, you need to go to state preferences and then notifications outside of Discord and just each server.
It's round 5 of another action-packed SLR Formula 1 Tier 2 race. This week's battleground is Spain, bringing with it some tight and twisty sections coupled with a long main straight. It is sure to serve up some great action, and if last week's race at Azerbaijan is anything to go by, we should be in for a great treat. On the screen you can see at the moment is the current calendar. Round 5 we are at Spain. I'll just take that down now. So, normally I'm joined by Mr. Triton, but he is AWOL at the moment, so I have managed to recruit the services of the one and only Mr. OceanChief. Now, Chief, last week's race in Azerbaijan was a bit hectic. It was fantastic to commentate on, but I'm just hoping that we don't get so many collisions as we did in Baku today in Spain. So I was just wondering, what's your thought process today and how things are going to go?
Yeah, judging by practice, it looks like a lot of drivers do love this track, and we have seen plenty of fast times on the board. There have been some incidents heading into turn 1, and this is tier 2, which is prone to a bit of a argy-bargy, but
Yeah.
I have plenty of faith in these guys. We're saying it is wet quali at the minute, but I've been informed by Silver that it's actually a dry race, so interesting stuff. And we've also, worth mentioning, 19 full-time drivers, which is somewhat of a a record, I think, for tier 2, which usually has good attendance, but 19 full-time drivers is quite a treat for us. The only person who is not a full-time driver is Colored Lonely, who makes his debut performance today, so we'll have to keep an eye out for him and see how he gets on with the tier 2 guys.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's looking down the names, he's the only guy I don't really recognise, so he's a kind of like an unknown for me as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on, especially in the qualifying in the wet. I've also got the wee graph here for the current Tier 2 standings. Hopefully that should be shown on the screen shortly. I think Onion Barge is leading up at the front. Yeah. There it is. So Onion Barge, as people can see there, Onion Barge is way up at the top at the moment with 68 points. But Silver and who's that? Matthias is a bit small for me. Yeah, Silver and Matthias are catching pretty hard. As you can see, actually the top 6 guys, anything can happen there between in terms of how this race goes out. Those positions are certainly going to switch around.
Yeah, and as you can see there, Onion Barge has won 2 races, came second in the first race in Australia, and he's had Azerbaijani didn't show up for that race, so that's 2 wins from 3 races pretty much, and in the Australia race is second, so he is maximizing the points there apart from that DNS. And then you've got I don't know how you pronounce his name. Ag, is it?
Ag, yeah, just Aaron. I think we just call him Aaron. He's
so
Aaron in game.
He's had 2 no-shows, but he's done really well with just 2 races completed. First place finish in the Australia Grand Prix and a 5th place finish. I know he did struggle a little bit in Baku, but managed to get some points on the table. And then you've got that Bance, he is. He's not someone you can count out at all. He can just show up and put in stellar performances. So we'll see how he gets on. Thimo and Keeper Magnussen then. Yeah, they're another 2 guys that we'll need to keep an eye out for. I think Thimo in past seasons in SLR hasn't really... I don't know if it was the F1 2018 game he just didn't take a liking to, maybe because of all the bugs and stuff, but he really has taken a shine to this version of the game, and as we can see there by the standings, he's doing well so far. So hopefully that continues, and he can build on his points that he's put on the board so far.
Yeah, I was talking to Thimo just before the race kicked off, and I was just kind of complimenting him on how well he's done this season, especially in the Assetto Corsa one that we also commented on. One of the things, as we're just seeing, Aaron got a really bad exit there on the exit of that corner and nearly lost it.
So the treacherous conditions out there, it looks like, yeah.
That's pretty P1. Yeah, I'm expecting these times to start tumbling the more the boys get out on track and explore the limits. I know for me personally, if whenever a qualifying session starts up and I see rain, I almost think about hitting the retire button before even going out in the garage, because I cannot do the rain.
Yeah, I tend to spend the 18 minutes just trying to get up to speed, and by the time the 18 minutes are up, I'm like, yeah, I'm not up to speed at all. I'm doomed. But I've got Icewind in chat saying, can you show the tires on the stream? So
Oh
if you
yes,
could bring up
sorry.
that data for Icewind likes to analyze the strategies, obviously getting some prep in for
Yes,
the tier one race.
I actually like doing that myself, and I think to myself sometimes when I'm watching broadcasts, get the tires up. But I mean, is whenever you're trying to do it yourself, manage everything, it completely crossed, went out of my mind. So apologies for that. But the tires are up at the moment. Reasonably similar times at the moment. Inferno Coy must have had some off-track excursions to get a 2 minutes 5, unless he's been watching you a bit too much, Chief.
No, no, no. I like to think of myself as the gatekeeper, you know. I'm like the guy. Like if you can get past me, then you're good for tier one or tier two race.
Now you've improved. Like everyone I've found, the regulars, they've all improved, and you're no exception to that rule either. You have also improved massively, and you're also using the cockpit camera, which I've tried. I find it really really difficult.
Yeah, it's tricky. I wonder why I do it sometimes myself, but it's enjoyable. It's very immersive, and yeah, that's the problem. I found is like I know I have got better, but the problem is everybody else has got better as well. So
Yeah.
while I've raised the bar for myself, everyone else has raised the bar, and we've got some mighty drivers in SLR. I mean, some of these guys are just, I don't know if they're just aliens, basically. They're not from this planet.
And then sure, even when some of the boys do move on to something else, SLR are always able to just recruit more drivers, and they're just almost as good or not better than the previous guys. So it's just constantly moving forward in terms of the skill gap.
Yeah, I think as the season, progresses and like we get more seasons under our belt, we're just going to see like there's going to be a core element of drivers that are just, they're another level, and I think they're going to be the ones that will inspire the next generation to come through. Just reading chat here again. Chu is asking, do you guys think it will be a one-stop now? Everyone will get fresh tires for the race. So that is an interesting point because it's a wet qualifying session. All the drivers are going to have fresh tires, so it does open the doors to
Well,
different
one
strategies.
stop has been a pretty powerful strategy, I think, all season so far in all these races. Um, I don't see why Spain would be any different, really. Considering that, I mean, he does make a good point there, where they're all going to be starting on fresh tires. So you might actually see people starting on the mediums, or would you? I wonder, would you see that? I'm not sure now, to be honest. It's a bit of an unknown for me. I haven't done much running at the moment in the game, other than my racing on Sunday. Oh, Vance is getting a bit of difficulty here at the moment, trying to get a bit of grip. Sorry, yeah, the only kind of experience I've got in Formula One is just my races on Sundays, so I haven't actually done much running in Spain. So I can't really call the tyre strats, but I would imagine a one stop would definitely be on the cards, as we have a yellow in sector 1. If I just, oh, there we got it. It's Aaron. No, that's not right. No, it's Vinny. Sorry,
Oh dear,
Vinny's
Vinny's
struggling
not.
with the conditions at the moment.
Yeah, we've seen him in practice. Vinny is in another. Yeah, I think he could well contend for the actual race win here if he qualifies well.
Yeah,
He's put in some stellar performances in practice during the week. So, and we know he's been on holiday. And what we've seen when people go on holiday is they tend to come back recharged and
yeah.
chomping at the bit. So he's one to watch out for the race win today.
Recharged and reinvigorated, but I mean, like you were saying, there are a lot of like heavyweights here. I know it's tier 2, but there are some quality drivers. Oh no, as Vinny got lost at coming out of the last corner, and he has lost his front wheel,
Oh,
so that is his quali over.
oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
That
He's not making it easy for himself, that's for sure.
look, that is easy to do. I mean, I did, like I say, I haven't done much running, but the running I have done, I did lose it there a few times myself. So it's easily done. I mean, these conditions at the moment doesn't make it any easier. Just looking down here, who's on a lap, outlap? Jeremy's on a lap. Jeremy's been pretty quiet this week since the previous race. but it's nice to see him back. I tell you what, am excited about, Chief. It's getting Aaron back with Onion, because as you touched on earlier on in the broadcast at the beginning there, Aaron won the first race. Excuse me. Aaron won the first race in Australia, but Onion Barge was the first person to really go for the one stop, and he really showed that it can be done. And for a moment near the end of that race, it was touch and go. We weren't really sure who was going to get the win, whether it was going to be Onion or Aaron, but Aaron just had fresher tyres and great pace that there was a great battle in the last few laps. Of course, Aaron ultimately ended up coming out all on top. But since then, Aaron has been just away doing something else, and hasn't been able to compete, which has basically left it wide open for Onion to kind of capitalise, where he's got 2 wins and what did he come last week? He got a podium. I think he's been on the podium every single. No, he didn't start last week. Sorry, he didn't race last week. But since then, he's been on the firsts 2 wins. So this is kind of like a reignited battle between these two. I'm hoping to see Aaron and Onion really getting stuck in at it and continuing on where they kind of left off in Australia, because I'm not so sure that Onion would have such a comfortable lead at the top if Aaron was racing, because Aaron was showing that he can match Onion on track on pace. Jeremy's just gingerly creeping around the track. I mean, I don't envy any of these boys here at the moment on these conditions.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just reading chat where Vinny has said, "Don't spectate me, Ocean. See what you did."
Oh, that was my fault, Vinny. I apologise profusely. I mean, you want to compliment a guy and you end up killing him.
Seems to be the way of it lately, doesn't it?
We got yellows in sector 2, if I can find who that is. Forgive the camera switching. Oh, here we go. It's Kawadi. Kawadi's having a nightmare season so far. I think he struggled every race with his control. Oh, he's going the wrong way. He needs to be careful doing that, because what will happen to you, it happened to me in China, was the game just punishes you, disqualifies you for going the wrong way. Ooh! We've seen a bit of racing in the pit lane now. Wow. I know Formula 1 rules state that the pit lane is actually part of the racetrack, so you can actually race in that, but I didn't see that one coming anywhere. Vance came out of nowhere there. But this is what this is what we want to see. We want to see a bit of action, a bit of racing, people are keen to get stuck in.
Yeah, and that Vance is actually second, so he's got a 1:30.3 on the board. Nice lap from him.
Yeah, and I do say it, Vance does not get that much practice in lately, because he's working away from home. He just comes home, gets a few hours racing on it, and that's it. So he pretty much just turns up and bangs these laps in, which I'm really envious at.
So currently Ag P1 with a 1:30.3. It doesn't look like the track's getting any drier at the minute. It's quite wet still out there. Thimo, he's done pretty well with 1:30.9. He's currently in P6. So Matt Tess looks like he's a wee bit out of position in P9, so he's struggling at the minute. He's still in the pits as well, so he needs to get out soon if he wants to put another lap on the board.
Yeah, I think Silver and Matthias in the Racing Point there, or Racing Point, forgive me. They're pretty, although they're doing well, they're doing well collectively or individually in the drivers. They are, like, from memory, pretty far ahead in the constructors, because they've been consistently in the points, so they are just running away with it at the moment.
Yeah, I could tell you now, they're 116 points, and Williams are second with 70 points, so they're almost double over the second position.
Then I think McLaren is third.
55, yeah. Yeah, so if they can put another good performance in today, they will further cement that lead at the top. But Matthias is struggling here in the outlap. He's trying to get out of the way of all the drivers here. It looks like a bit of a mess out there. Like, I mean, there's drivers slowing down on the left-hand side of the circuit, right-hand circuit. Is that Thimo behind Matthias?
No, my goodness. It looked like Matthias is just doing everything he can to get back to the pits, but in doing so, he's ending up in front of people. So I'm not sure whether the guy behind him was on a timed lap, but
But
he's. I don't think he's going to get back in time. I think he's trying to get back in time for another lap. No, wait, he's on his out lap,
he's on an out lap here, so
and
he
he's.
might. Oh, who's on the background? Just look like Toro Rosso. I think it might have been. Actually, I don't know who that was. Mossy Gaming, possibly. Yeah, Mossy Gaming. He was flying around that corner there, and he almost lost the car. He's down in 14th currently, about to start another hot lap.
So who's on? So Vance is on a hot. He's just starting his final lap now. Oh, Aaron goes quickest again with a 129.9. I don't think it's a huge improvement, but it is still an improvement, and any improvement in the wet will, definitely do you well for the end of this qualifying.
It's good to see Tats who a P4 currently. We know he's struggled a wee bit in the past, but he's really coming along here nicely. And a lot of yellow flags, sector 1, 2, and 3. So
Yeah, we've got Edward and Mozzie Gaming both off. So Edward would want to get that off track because he's right on the. Well, he's just off track at the moment, so it should be safe enough. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's out of fuel or what, but he's parked that car in it's kind of like whenever you're on your quali lap, when you're in the zone, that would really put you off, that car sitting there. So you'll want to try and get that moved quickly, hopefully. I know we're missing some laps here, but I want to see. Oh, he retires. So Edward has retired. So who else is on? So I was on with Bance there. So we got a crash. Just as I predicted it, Edward's car was left on the track, and Silver has collided with him. That's a big crash, and we've got the Renault coming up in the background as well. So Silver needs to watch out of the way. Oh my goodness! I don't know if you caught that, Chief, but Edward was car. He retired the car, but it kind of crept on track, and it looks like Silver got caught up in it.
yeah, I didn't see that, but Vance is one top of a 129.8, so it's just pipped Aaron Ag by 0.1 of a second. That's going to make it very interesting for the race.
Yeah,
Thimo up to third.
Sorry for missing that lap of Vance. We're just watching that action with Edward's parked car. Silver's not going to be too happy with that. I can imagine from what I seen on the end of it, it looked like just Edward's car crept on track. So who we got still on the lap? Thimo. Oh, Thimo gets it, almost loses it.
Oh yeah, he's going to have to back out of that, yeah.
So that will be his. Yeah.
I was going to say Onion Barge, he's on a fast one as well. He's currently heading into sector 2, so he's currently P4, but we know he's a fast boy, so quite potentially could move himself up here. So he's coming up to a bit of traffic though. We've seen this here throughout the session. A lot of traffic getting in the way. Hopefully nothing.
Oh, the car ahead spun.
Oh, Crimsonian just spun out there. Sometimes I can put you, even though he was way off the tracks, sometimes I can put you off your lap, as you're kind of like, takes your attention off the, the racing line and kind of unsettle you a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Whenever you're in the zone, focused, trying to nail every single break point, every apex, just even the flash of a car in the distance can put you completely off, and you could miss that corner, and that could cost you pole, or it could even cost you getting into position. As we're seeing Onion Barge cross the line, does he improve? Oh, he does.
Nice. P2 in the bag. So that looks like our grid is set. So Bounce P1, Onion Barge second, with Ag in third. So a lot of fast boys at the top of this grid. This is going to be a pretty good Grand Prix, I think. And Silver in P6 as well. So he's got to do some running for the field. But we know he is super fast, so I imagine he will be moving up the field pretty quickly, I would say.
If you just look at the gap there before this kicks off from P3 to P1, I mean, that's how nip and tuck these three guys are. This is going to be some mega race. Well, hopefully it's going to be a mega race. Sometimes whenever you get these top quality drivers, it doesn't turn into that, and something happens and we get spoiled of a good race. But no, I'm thinking this should be pretty tasty. So bring it on.
Yeah, boy. So 3 drivers and 129. So The creme de la creme.
So I'll point. Let me just say to the viewers at the moment that although I'm no stranger to the commentating. This will be my first time kind of hosting the race in terms of the camera work, and of course calling the beginning. So hopefully I can pull it off and don't give anybody kind of a brain freeze with switching the camera.
Excuse me.
Are you with me, Chief? You still there? We're
Yeah,
losing
I
Chief.
think yeah, I think I should last the rest of the race, but
As I say,
beyond
in this country, another clean shirt will do you.
that.
So I mean, while we're waiting for these guys to load up, I normally like to try and call it, in terms of who's going to get the race. Sometimes we like to call pole. Pole, it was too difficult to call pole. There's too many quality drivers, and it's the wet, so it's difficult to call. But even in this is going to be really difficult to call for the race win. I mean, I think if we're going to just go by what we do know, I think you're definitely looking at one of the top three would be the big shout for this victory.
Yep. And it's worth mentioning as well that Bance, this is his home Grand Prix,
That's
so
right.
that gives him an extra boost, maybe.
Also, we were touching on earlier about the only reserve driver, Collared Lonely. He did actually a pretty good job, P10.
Yeah, so far so good. Wet conditions, as we mentioned, is quite difficult, and he's done a stellar job to get P10 there. So
But as we know, qualifying is only just pace, but racing is something completely different. We've seen guys who are remarkably fast but just have no race pace. So this will be the real test, especially starting in P10. I've done a few P10 starts recently, and I mean it's so easy to lose it, to lose it everything. But Bance is kind of running away here in this formation lap. He's going to want to kind of back off a little bit, and I don't know whether cooling on the brakes in the online game is a real thing or not, but I mean, I wouldn't want to take the chance.
yeah, and I just need to load in my spectator menu actually. As, before
Oh,
we
that's
get
right.
going.
Get the tires. Have we got the details? There we are. There's the tires up. Oh yeah. So this is what I said to you, Chief. Everyone's running the mediums except Keyboard Magnuson. So that'll be one to watch and see where Keyboard Magnuson. He probably will eventually inherit P1 at some point in the race. But hopefully I can get a good camera angle here. Everyone's lining up for the race. I don't know about you, Chief, but I mean, I've done many seasons in SLR and 2SRL, and I still get a bit nervous
Oh yeah.
at this moment. I can't get a good camera. I don't know what I'm going to do here. Good camera, please. Oh no, I can't get a good camera at all.
Oh, there's a good one over the wall.
Oh, sorry,
It
forgive me.
usually switches pretty quick.
So
Yeah.
I'm running on board with Bance here, so the lights are on the screen. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And they're out and away we go. Onion Barge already gets
penalty.
a drive-through penalty. We've got... Bant's got a terrible start. Who was that? Onion Barge he did get, of course, the launch of the line, so he's going to inherit. He will have to give that position back. But Thimo has squeezed himself up to P1. Oh, we got Bance nearly loses at the back. Or, sorry, at the front. We've got a Red Bull off at the background. I'll run on board with that in a minute, but we have a Bance battling with Aaron at the moment.
Yeah, the rebel was Jeremy, and he is currently making his way back onto the track, but he's currently P19 now. He's lost a lot of positions there. Someone who did get a massively good start was Wimpy. He's up to P10. So another great start from him. I think we saw that last time as well. He got a great start.
But Vinny's really battling Silver here. He's trying to go around. That's a really tricky place to try and overtake, but they keep it together. Who else have we got? Tats is also in the back. What you were saying, Wimpy made a good start. Wimpy did a fantastic start actually in P10. So where did he start?
He was P14, so he's made up 4 spots there. And yeah, Thimo and that Bance in the McLaren. Now, this is an interesting one. We know that they've made that switch, so they're in the same team now. And I wonder if team orders will come into play here. Will Thimo maybe try... Well, do you reckon Thimo might let Bance pass here?
I think he will.
Yeah, I think he should do. And then
I think so.
Timo could maybe try and defend and hold off Ag for a bit because we know Ag is a super fast driver, and there's no doubt he's chomping at the bit to get at onion barge here.
Yeah, so Timo didn't make that difficult for Bance at all. I don't know if he's going to be on voice com with him, but he will be screaming at Timo, "Hold off, Aaron! Hold off, Aaron!" So, but I mean, that's the name of the game. It's a bit of teamwork. As Vinny is right on the screen, yeah, he's right on the back of Silver here. Well, he was on the timing screens. I don't know how accurate they are.
Lap 2. So lap 3, we'll see the DRS come into action, and we know that that is pretty OP on the straights, the main straights. So we will start seeing a lot of overtakes coming up, I think, in the next lap or two.
Oh, who was that? We had someone off track there. I think it was Mozzie Gaming who's getting it wrong on that uphill. I find that's the tricky. Oh, who's just here? We've got motocrossers going for the inside line. Big
Big
crash.
accident. Color Lonely. No, sorry. Mossy Gaiman went into the back of Wimpy. Wimpy managed to keep it on track, but he is now under pressure from Matthias. So I did actually catch that incident, and yeah, Mossy Gaiman just went straight into the back of Wimpy at the hairpin.
Yeah, I think I might have got that just on the onboard of Motocrosser, so we can look back at that. The FIA can have a wee look at that. Keep them
And
busy.
Wimpy's a lot of pressure here from Matthias. Matthias going for the move. He's going for the inside line, as is Motocrosser. So Wimpy is dropped the position before the corner, and looks like he's dropped another one to Motocrosser. Free wide. Oh! Free wide going into turn 1. They managed to survive just about somehow, but there's 5 cars all fighting over one position now.
This is a great battle. Wimpy's really getting stuck in there and showing he has come to race. So the 2 Renaults in the background are also fighting.
Yeah, he's really compromised with that incident with Mossy Gaming, but it's good to see he's kept it on track. But he is on the back foot here with these fast drivers, Motocrosser and the 2 Reynolds behind him. I think Verk is someone we need to watch out for as well. I've seen him; he's very fast in practice, but we need to keep an eye on his racecraft as well. He is known to go for some hairy moves that sometimes don't pay off for him. Oh, Verk. Verk almost lost the back end there. Verk looking like he's going to go for a move down the inside there, but I think he thinks better off it.
Yeah, Verk's really pushing him here. He really wants the space. He's probably going to he will get the DRS. But then of course so will Inferno Koi will get it on Motocrosser. So this is where the battle is at the moment.
Oh, Onion Barge is in the pits already. What's that about? Lap 4 on the mediums?
That's probably his he's serving his penalty for the jump start.
Oh yes, you're right. Oh, you're right.
For the move here on Inferno Koi. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Clean as you like there. On Tats as well. Tats has lost a few positions there. It looked like he lost a couple of positions, so he might have had an issue. I didn't catch that myself.
We're on board here with Nethlook. I hope I pronounced that right. It's right on the gearbox of Crimsonium, who we did see last week. Crimsonium does not make it easy for you. Sorry, Chief, go ahead.
I was just going to say a bit of a recap. Bance in P1. We've got Ag has moved up to P2. He's got past Thimo there amongst all that action that we were calling, and Thimo for P3. Silver's up into P4 with it's just Vinny and P5, and then Crimsonian is in P6. So Silver is there's the top 5 guys are very, very close together here. So we're probably going to see some action develop here in the main straight. Yep, Bance is under pressure from Ag. He tries to close the inside line, but Ag goes for it anyway. Looks like Ag may have this move done. Oh, Bance not giving up on that. He's just holding on to the inside line, but Ag is able to take the position. I think Bance, I know racing on myself, he does not give up easy, and it's great to see. It's great for us to call because he does not give up positions easy, and unfortunately he lost out there, but I think if he holds on, he may well try and get that position back by the next time they're on that main straight.
Yeah, so even on this upcoming DRS zone, Bance might even try it because he's not afraid to send one, and he usually makes, as I said before, he's really good on the brake, so don't be surprised if we see a wee lunge. There we go. Is he going to try for it? No, he's selling the dummy.
Oh, he
He's
just
just
showed
letting,
his.
yeah, he's letting Aaron know I'm here, and if you give me a chance, I'm going for it. So I'm just going to run on board with it. Excuse me, I'm going to run on board here with Bance and Aaron because I don't think this battle is over just yet. These boys could maybe just crisscross each other all race with the DRS
Yeah.
zone. Oh, Bance did not get a good exit.
Silver did get a good exit here.
Yeah.
He's right behind Bance as well, so Bance needs to be careful. Both of them have DRS though, but Silver is closing in on him just slightly, ever so slightly. Bance guarding that inside line there.
Nicely
But
defended.
this battle between Bance and Ag is playing into the hands of Silver, I think.
Oh, definitely.
And Vinny's dropping off a wee bit, so these top three are really putting the hammer down. Got a 1.6 gap down to P4, and then we've got Thimo right behind Vinny, keeping the pressure on.
But it's good actually, it's good for us and people viewing because you can see the gaps and everyone's pretty close to each other. Then you see the DRS zone comes up, you get the jump on the boy and then you can't really get away. So I mean, this is going to be quite a lot of quite a lot of DRS passes in this race.
I've got Onion Barge right behind Wimpy here. He's really putting the heat on our boy Wimpy. Could have this move done by the hairpin, I reckon. The DRS. Oh, Wimpy gets DRS as well. Wimpy's guarding the inside line, but doesn't close the door completely. So Onion Barge goes for it and makes that move stick. Wimpy looked like he was going to fight back there, but he fought better off it. It's not really a good place to try to take a position back there. In fact, Sector 3 is not a place to overtake at all. It's so technical and tight, especially these last few corners.
Yeah, if Wimpy had if he had closed that gap anymore, it could have been maybe another incident where the car runs into the back of him. So I think he was maybe the best thing just to leave that little space.
Yeah, Wimpy's just best getting his head down, doing his own race. He's now going to be under pressure from Verk, and I think Verk's probably going to get him. We know Verk is very, very pacey. So hopefully Wimpy doesn't, sometimes you get that sinking feeling, you see yourself just going backwards, and it's, you have to think about the long game, everybody's kind of got their own issues to work out, so just get your head down and do your own race.
Yeah, focus on your own race, your own strategy, and hopefully it all plays into your hands.
And saying that, he is keeping this gap kind of modest to Verk, so Verk isn't able to close him down very quickly here. And there's another guy who's lost out a lot of positions from the start, is Keyboard Magnuson, who's just behind Verk.
Man's got really back end. He's almost lost it there, and Silver had a go on the last chicane. So if he gets a good drive here, we might see a wee pass for P2.
Yeah, because Bounce is not going to have DRS, even though, it looks like Ag had a really bad run out of his final corner. And Bounce is all over his gearbox right now. Is he going to go for the move? We're on the outside, he is indeed. Oh, nicely done by Bounce. Made the move stick. He had the move done by turn 2.
But now Aaron's coming under pressure with Silver as well. This is what I was saying, these three guys are going to be yo-yoing each other with the DRS because their pace is pretty evenly matched, and so the only thing will be either a mistake or of course the DRS.
Yeah, if Bounce can get out of DRS range of Ag or Silva, like, it's going to be huge for him. I mean, he can really start to stretch his legs a little bit, but Ag and Silver, I mean, trying to build a gap up to those two guys is a big ask.
Yeah, this is definitely the closest battle on track at the moment between Ag and Aaron, so forgive me if I'm not showing anyone else, because...
Ag's out!
Ag's out!
I didn't catch what happened there, but he went straight into the wall. He has picked up front wing damage. Quite considerable amount of front wing damage. He swings it on the track. Thankfully, no cars behind him right at this minute, although there's Onion Barge coming through, so he's making his way through the field nicely. P9, but Ag is really compromised his race right now. He's going to have to pit, I reckon.
Oh, we've got to change at the top. My goodness, how nice like that. Oh no, we don't. Bounce holds on and fends up, but he runs really wide, and that gives Silver slips up the inside. But now Bounce is going to come under pressure with Vinny as well, because Vinny was charging up that hill with a lot of speed.
What a race, what a race. And it's only lap 9.
It's really hard to cover it all. Keyboard Magnuson is looking pretty close to someone there. Yeah,
Verk would be, yeah, Verk.
right on the back of Verk.
And yeah, Keeper Magnuson's on these hard tires, as Marla Kraken points out in chat, so he's on a different strategy than all these guys. So if he can just hold on, and then he's going to go on to the faster tire for the last stint of the race, so he could do pretty well here if he just hangs on to SLR Verk, gets that DRS. That's going to help him massively.
Yeah, he was the only one that started on the hards. Everyone else started on the medium. So, Verk is not going to good X up the hill. He's maybe going to go for a wee lunge down the inside. Verk just gives him just about enough room. This is nice, clean, isn't it? A bit of wheel banging, but Keeper Magnus forces his way on through, and I think that's the move done. But yeah, Verk's dropped off a little bit, so you should get the DRS. Me personally, I would have tried to hung on.
For the DRS,
for the DRS, because now Keyboard Magazine has just given Verk DRS.
Yeah,
it's not just about.
He's going to get this position back probably, isn't he?
Yeah.
Look how much he's closing in already. This is crazy. There's a DRS in this straight, so he's passed him already. You're right. He should have waited.
Yeah, you see, it's not just your on track pace and your racecraft, but it's also your bit of your knowledge, thinking ahead in terms of how you can. Don't let your opponent get an advantage on you.
Yep. And Matt Tess is all over the gearbox of Tats for P7 here, so he's about to come up to a DRS zone, so if he can stick onto the back of him here, he might get him before the hairpin. So Tats going wide. Oh dear.
In recent races with Tats, he has had a bit of difficulty with his controlling of his car. Matthias is going to go for the lunge, a late lunge on the inside, and needs to be careful, because if you're going to go for a lunge like that, you need a very compliant other driver, because if they just decide to cut across to take the racing line, well, their rear's going to hit your front and you are gone.
Matthias is touching the front right tire, just touching the curb there on that long right-hander, and that will massively unsettle the car. I think that's probably exactly what happened to Aaron Ag. That was the corner he went off there, so I think he had it, or maybe the corner before, the one where you can ride over the curb a bit, just to cut that. I think he got caught out by that one. So what else have we got? We got Tats now. It's closed right up in Crimsonian. So there's plenty of battles going on here.
With Verk and Timo Magnuson. My goodness, it's really hard to keep track of everything here. This is a fantastic battle. Look at this. I've got the hill. Yeah. Switching side by side. Yeah, this is fantastic.
He's going to get it though. It looks like Keeper Magnuson's got the inside line.
He's got the inside line, yeah. But now it's Verk. Now Verk gets the position. Oh, Verk really goes on the late in the brakes, and then Keeper Magnuson's going to slip down the inside. That doesn't work. Yeah.
Nicely done by Keeper Magnuson. Oh, Verk going for the inside move again, but I think's better off it. That was good that he pulled out of that one, because I think that would have ended badly for both of them.
That reminds me of my last race in Spain. I actually did what Verk did on Jeremy. The first time it didn't work, the second time it did. So don't be surprised if Verk tries that again, because if you miss it the first time, well, then you know where the benchmark is for the second time around. But they all kept it clean. That's the main thing. Inferno Coy seems to be on the back of Jeremy here. So lap 11. Yeah, I would expect to see these medium runners coming in. No, maybe not in lap 11. When would they be coming in? 15, 16 laps, 16, something like that?
Yeah, you might see some guys go for an undercut though. Don't know how much of an advantage that would gain them, but it's, we've seen different strategies come into play before and catch people out, so something to watch out for.
So whoever got on track is a bit close. Not much at the moment.
Well, it's just Vinny is closing in on that Spance.
I'm sure he is.
Gap is 0.5.
Look at this. So we're going to see a bit of DRS action here for Vinny, and Bance will, of course, knowing Bance, I mean, even if he's got near botched tyres, he still defend the position. So he'll be going to the inside. As Wimpy gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting multiple warnings, so that must have been a lot of corner cutting. So I'm going to run on board with Vinny here, because sometimes the spectator one misses some of the action. So Bance is not defending it, is he?
Oh, it looks like he is. Yeah, he's not defending it, but I think he was confident of getting the good run into the first corner there. Onion Barge back in the pits. So he's going for his first pit stop. Although this is his second time in the pits.
Just got Matthias passing Tats there on the turn 1. Pretty straightforward. Oh, Jeremy, and there's a big... What's going on back here? I missed that. There's a couple of changes there.
Oh, I think Onion Barge, he's in the pit, so he was just dropping down the order there. He's came out in P15 currently behind Inferno Koi.
Yeah, so that jump start has really cost Onion any real, meaningful points.
Yeah, damage limitation right now.
Yeah, it's just he's going to try and get as high as he can.
And the same for Onion, or I was going to say Onion Ag. Onion Ag. Arn Ag.
Onion Ag, yeah.
Arn Ag, he's been putting in the fastest laps. We saw him get that incident where he got front wing damage, so had to pit early. But he has been banging in the fastest lap on these hard tires, which he's probably going to try and take to the very end. So I reckon he will come into contention later on in the race for a bunch of points.
Yeah, you should never, don't rule out Aaron, because in the races we have seen with him, I mean, whenever he comes down at the back, he can stick in some really blisteringly fast times, but he does it consistently as well. So yeah, I think that's a good shout. I think he will be a contention and definitely around, in the points anyway. So we're getting a bit of action going on here. What are we missing? Wimpy, Verk.
We've got some guys pitting, Neff, look, in the pits as well, Jeremy. Yeah, so these guys are starting to think about pitting. So we'll keep an eye out front for these guys. They're gonna start thinking about pitting as well. Wonder what state their tires are in right now.
Yeah, so initially I said 16, but I reckon maybe lap 14 might be 14 to 16. I would expect to see these guys coming in. You could maybe run it a little bit longer than that, but you may be compromising your overall race time. So I'm going to run on here with Silver to see what he does. Is he going to come into the pits? Because as you say, someone could try the undercut and maybe... So Silver's staying out. Oh no, Silver's coming in. Is Bance coming in? Bance is coming in as well. And Vinny, so they're all coming in. And Thimo is staying out, so Thimo is going to try and jump these guys in the next whenever he comes out of the pits. I don't know whether he'll have much tyre wear left, as Crimsonian gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh dear. It's very demoralising getting that penalty, especially if your race isn't going very well to begin with.
Actually worse, if your race is going really well.
Oh, even worse.
That's even worse. But
that never happens to me, so maybe once.
You are the world champion of managing to get that P10 on the last lap.
Yeah, I'm the gatekeeper.
But what do you call it? I think this is kind of confirm what Shu was asking earlier in the chat. The one stop. I think that's been pretty much confirmed. It is the one stop.
Everybody's going for the one stop. The only person who kind of changed up the strategy a wee bit was Keyboard Magnuson starting on hard. So I wonder when we're going to see him coming in for his first pit stop.
Well, I don't think Onion will be doing the one stop because he pitted really, really early on the mediums. I think he pitted lap 2 or 3. And I think the hards, Timo's coming in for his pit now, so let's see where Bance is. Yeah. Oh! Turn 1, where did I get that? So Matthias is going out for another lap, so this is going to be really interesting how these all work out. So Silver's going to get P1. Where is Thimo going to come out? Well, this is a slow pit stop. I wonder, did he get a wing change?
Yeah, it looked mighty slow. So he's got passed by Bance, Silver, it's just Vinny. and comes out in P5. So effectively he's P4 once Matthias pits. Yeah, so no real change there. Keyboard Magnussen is up to 5th with that alternate strategy, but he is yet to pit for his mediums.
Yeah, but so as I was sort of saying there, Chief, Onion Barge pitted, I think, a lap. Well, he's actually pitted twice because he's only got three lap hards, and he pitted lap 2 or 3 anyway.
That
So
was
he,
for the stop go, yeah. So he didn't change tires then.
aye,
So
that's right. So he's 3 laps ago. So well, that's 50, 15. Yeah, so maybe so you can get about 18 to 23 laps on the hards, depending on, of course, what track you're on. So yeah, Onion Barge probably will be going to the end here, but I don't think he'll be very competitive near the end of the race because his hards will be like, cooked.
yeah, and Thimo is getting held up by here by
Yeah.
Keeper Magnussen, so it's going to cost him a bit of time. He's going to drop off the back of It's Just Vinny, so yeah, and Silver in P2. I mean, effectively he's P1 on track really, as Matthias has now pitted, so Silva will take that P1 position, and he sets a 121.821. What a lap from him there. So
Thibaut's
these
just looking for the pass on Keyboard Magnussen. It's going to be pretty straightforward. Keyboard Magnussen on 16 lap old hard, so that was like taking candy off a baby, as they say. I don't think Keyboard Magnussen would put up much of a fight anyway. So we got Mozzie Gamins have put on the soft tire on lap 17, so I mean he will have to pit again.
Oh, there's contact. What have we got there? What's that? Oh dear, who was that?
Chief?
I was a Taro I saw just going off track there.
Must
Like
have
a
been,
Mossy Gaiman, who is struggling massively, but he's getting in the way of other cars here, so I think FIA are going to have a look at his race.
let's have a wee look at what he's up to. I think all the boys are past him now.
Yeah, there's some incident in turn 1 there where I just caught him coming back on track, but he is really struggling here. So.
Yeah.
Jeez. He's on a soft tire as well, so he's obviously just giving up on this race completely, but hopefully he doesn't get in the way of the other drivers here, as we see Silva now with a gap to that balance of 2.6. Onion Barge as well, he's up to P9, which is great. He had those early issues, 2 pit stops already, and is in P9 on 4 lap old hard tires, so he's still not out of this. Oh, as I say that, he's coming into the pits on
yeah.
4 lap old hard tires. What is that about?
I think I seen him maybe clipping the back of someone, so maybe it's a bit of wing change.
Oh dear, that's his race over effectively. Unfortunately for him.
Matthias went for a wee move on the Crimsonium, but I think I'm not sure what happened, but he kind of went off track, got almost stuck on the curbs. So that will be frustrating him. This is the closest battle at the moment. Matthias and Crimsonium fighting over this P7. Crimsonium, of course, will be wanting to make a much more better impact in this race, as he didn't have a great race in Baku, a few incidents which he got penalised for.
But he's got a Matthias with DRS open. It's not enough though. Crimsonian guarded the inside line nicely there, so held him off for now. Is that a bit of contact as well?
Yeah, a bit of contact there, but I think Matthias is just a bit quicker on the throttle. So I'm going to run on board with Matthias here because he had a bit of an issue passing Crimsonium there on the uphill corner. So I mean, you would think you should get him. He's pretty close. You should stick it in the overtake mode. I don't see what his. Well, maybe get his telemetry on to see what his. Oh, he's got plenty of battery.
Yeah, he's an overtake. DRS open, and he goes for the outside move. Oh, it's tight, side by side, but Crimsonian looks.
Oh, we got a car off the head.
Oh,
my
that
goodness.
was lucky. That was lucky. He was ghosted, and it really screwed with Matthias there. He had to back out of that move on Crimsonian. So Crimsonian holds on to P5 for now, but I think it's only a matter of time before Matthias gets past him.
Yeah, Crimsonian's he's a little bit twitchy with his car control. I don't know if he's using a joypad or if he's on keyboard. Sometimes you see the way his car kind of weaves. I got there. Look at that. Oh, yeah, you can't do that, Crimsonian. Oh, Oh, you can't do that. I don't know if he's got that, Chief, but darting to the left and darting to the right, you can't do that in the braking zone.
Yeah, I saw that myself. That's really compromised Matthias, but Matthias does have the DRS. He goes for the outside move again. I don't know why he's not going to go for the inside, which is the more favorable line to take. For the overtake anyway. But he just needs to get a really good exit from the final corner here.
I think he's just being a bit more cautious because of the incident maybe with last week we saw with Crimsonium and Thimo, which pretty much cost Thimo his race.
He's close enough now, I would say. So maybe he's going to go for the inside line this time. So I think he's almost got the move done before he even hits the apex. And another pass is happening down the field. Motocrosser gets past the left look for P9. Again, getting the move done, wrapped up before the apex of turn 1.
So I think we might have a little bit of a bug for me anyway, Chief, because Neth Luke has got the mediums on his car, but hards on the delta, the tires on the side of the screen. So I'm not sure which one's right there.
Yeah, I think I'm getting the same bug actually. Yeah, shows mediums, but it says hards.
Oh, Wimpy's going for a pass on Verk. Verk's got the inside line. Wimpy's closing in. Is it? Oh, it's Jeremy. Sorry, he's going to pass.
Oh, is Jeremy going to go for this inside line? I would.
Yeah, back out of that one. Yeah.
I would not. Wimpy! Oh, he made that crucial mistake. I mean, it's so easy to do that. The car just wants to veer left there, and it got the better of him. And he's dropped down. It looks like 2 positions in 1 corner. That's bad crack for Wimpy. And Verk going for that move as well, as Verk's up to P12 now. Bit of contact between him and Jeremy, but nothing doing there. Looks like Verk's got that move wrapped up, and Wimpy's hanging on to the back of these guys as well, so maybe he's thinking about lining him up for a pass on the home straight here.
Again, this Jeremy was so close to him, it was almost like he was pushing him.
Yeah, it looked like he was pushing him around the corners there, yeah.
So Wimpy dropped off there, he didn't get a good exit, but Jeremy has got a good exit. I'll run on board with him because there's a better camera. Verk's moving defensive. Oh, it was a bit of a... Verk, he can't do that either!
Ooh.
He took 2... Oh my goodness. That was 2 moves. There was 2 defensive moves there. I don't know if anybody else saw that. Well, of course, it's on the stream. But that was 2 defensive moves there. Move to the middle, move back to the left, and then move back to the middle.
And Wimpy is right up behind Jeremy now, thinking about going for a move on the inside, but thinks better off it. I think Wimpy's weakness is he goes for that gap there, which is he's obviously won this position back. Do not go for this move, Wimpy.
Don't do this.
Oh, he goes for it, and he makes a stick, but yeah. He was lucky there. He was lucky because Jeremy got his line all wrong. I think Jeremy actually, he kind of saw that coming a wee bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Jeremy saw that one coming and just backed out of it. Of course, I mean, as I said before, just leave it until you get to the DRS zone and then you've got control. But so that's Crimsonium up in P6 and Verk as well. They're having pretty decent races, but it's just that kind of moving in the braking zone. Oh, Jeremy runs too wide. Moving in the braking zone, that is something you do not want to see because, I mean...
Oh, Keeper Magnussen go for a move on Nefluk in turn 1. Okay, almost big there. Side by side as they go for turn 2 and turn 3. It looks like Keeper Magnussen got that move done, but that was very dicey. He just went for a gap there that was ever closing, but managed to get the move done. Edward is out of the session. Oh, and his formation color, I didn't see that.
Virtual safety car.
Oh.
So Edward's car, Edward's DNF has caused the virtual safety car. Now, I wondered how did he leave? Did he just quit on track, or was there an issue? Because I think there is a rule that we have about retiring the car safely. And we've already seen Edward did not retire the car safely in qualifying, and Silver smashed into him in his parked car. So already he's got something to watch out for. But has his DNF caused this virtual? Well, the virtual safety car has ended, so that's. We'll just leave that one there.
We're back racing, yeah, but we'll look into that afterwards. FAL.
Yeah.
Look at that. Let's see, but yeah, Colored Lonely. I didn't see when he finished, but it's in looks like
Yeah, that was the incident at the start. Remember the big crash that we seen when Mozzie Gaming or somebody ran into the back?
okay, right. So that was him out then. That's unfortunate for him. First race, first DNF. Well, things can only get better from there.
Well, yeah, the only way is up.
So
So
who else was up?
It's Jeremy who's really wants this position back off Wimpy. So he kind of dropped off a little bit, probably giving himself a bit of a breathing space, and then mounting this attack again. But I don't know what's right because Wimpy has got the mediums on, but the graph is showing the hards. Now, if we just take it for both scenarios, if Wimpy does, oh, Jeremy's running a bit wide there. You don't want to do that because you can lose the car very easily. So if Wimpy does have the medium that's on, then this will play into Jeremy's hands because, of course, Wimpy's tyres are going to die off much quicker. Also, Wimpy has a 3-second time penalty. So as long as Jeremy keeps up with him, you get that position. But I mean, it's for P13. It's not for any points. It's just bragging rights more than anything. So we'll move further up the field with Mr. Tats, who is having a really great race, I think, because Tats has had a horrible time, especially in the last season anyway, and so far this season I don't think he's been doing that great. But P6 in Spain with less than 10 laps to go. We got a yellow in sector 1 and 2. I'm going to run through the cameras here, people. Oh, it's cleared up, so I don't know what that was. So Silver's really stretching that gap on Bance at the moment. A 6-second lead, and I'm not sure if there's any penalties up ahead, so this is for position. Bance has got his hands full at the moment because Vinny has got right down to 1.6 seconds. He will be pushing hard to get onto that DRS zone, which is the holy grail, especially in this track or this main straight, because it's not easy to pass. There's only a few corners where you can really mount an overtake on it.
Yeah, and another thing I noticed there is Silver he's like 60% ERS, almost 70 as he heads into turn 1. Bance is on 40% and Vinny is down to 20%. So obviously Silver he's really dominating this race. Yeah, he's got a lot ERS in the tank as well if anyone does mount a challenge, but he's got 6-second gap and a whole load of ERS in the tank. So unless he makes a mistake, and I'm not inviting the commentator's curse, unless he makes a mistake, he's got this race sewn up, I would say. Icewind in chat is putting a request in. Can we see telemetry?
Telemetry, you can. It is already enabled. Sorry, yes. I have it enabled just for Icewind.
There you go.
There's the close-up microphone speaks that Mr. Triton likes. There you are, Mr. Triton. Apparently that gets him excited. So.
Oh, Cameron Magnuson's out. I don't know what happened, but it shows him as a DNF. I'm on board with Inferno Koi here,
me too.
Oh, it must be in the pits, is it?
Yeah.
What the hell is that about? That's a strange one. I wonder if he crashed out in the pits.
I want to run on board with Wimpy for a minute to check his... Wimpy. So I ran on board with Wimpy here to check his ERS. Because I think if you remember, I was, after the race, I jumped on board with Wimpy and yourself and Icewind, and kind of telling Wimpy that he's running his ERS too low, and then he's not really giving himself much of a chance to defend. So you should try and run on these twisty sections, especially see this final section in sector 3. I just switched my ERS off completely, off, because it's really difficult to conserve your ERS in Spain.
Funny enough, I had a conversation with it, won't be about 10 minutes before the race. He was asking for a bit of advice on that. So I did say to him, go either high. What happened there, man? That was a bit strange.
A bit of lapse in concentration for wimps.
Just completely off track. He was lucky to keep it there, I mean, didn't lose too much time
there very easily.
But I was just saying, so 10 minutes before the race, I gave him a wee bit of advice. I said, well, the advice I was giving him was, don't worry about fuel mode too much. I got a wee tip off from Hugo's. He says
Yeah.
don't really have to use Rich too much. It's not really that effect. Oh, virtual safety car is out. Cody's out of the race,
Oh, see if
so
we
I'm
can
not sure what
see.
happened there.
I'm running on board with Muzzy Gaming, who will see if we can see any debris of Coati's car. Nothing as yet. Wonder did he miss it on the uphill? I'm running on board with Muzzy Gaming here at the moment. This uphill, this is the first place where you'll see a lot of incidents just here because your back end just slides around if you're too eager on the throttle, and as well here if you run too wide off here, you're dead. Oh, it must have been there. Yeah, it must have been back at that. I'm not sure what turn that is, turn 6 or something. Where
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Arn Ag has got up to P6 past Crimsonium there, just as the virtual safety car ended.
but he's got what do you call it? He's got 18 lap old hards.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit dicey. He's got 6 laps left to do, so they're going to be 24-lap old tires by the end. So
They'll be on the absolute limit because from what I remember, you can run about 23 laps on the hards before it's pretty much game over. So, I mean, even that's remarkable when he's on 18 lap old hards. Crimsonium's on 12 lap hards, and Aaron is just, got a two. What has he got? Well, he got past Crimsonium, and he's not getting away just as quick as I would have thought. Everything seems to have settled down now. We're coming into the end of this race. We've got a yellow in sector 2. Oh, it's clear. It's still yellows in sector 2. Onion barge. Bear with me if I just scroll through the cameras here, people, to see if we can find out where that yellow's coming from. Well, it's gone now, so I guess we may never know. Yeah, so
Kirsten Chat is requesting lap data. These guys are very demanding today, aren't
my
they?
goodness, guys, I'm doing my best here. So there you are. There's the lap data. What do you want? No one ever requests lap data.
Funny, I would actually look at that just to see what kind of laps are going on the board, just to give me an idea of what kind of pace I should be aiming for.
I think he's just asking that just to annoy me.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
But unfortunately, I can't see the chat, so you're gonna have to be my kitsune of the chat box.
Wee.
Maybe in service.
Oh he.
That's not offensive whatsoever.
Crimsonian's got DRS now on
Yes.
Ag, but no, it's not enough. He does close up a little bit there. Silver with a 121 flat.
Silver's
14
really stretching these legs, yeah. Verk with another time penalty, so these time penalties are going to see a bit of switcherooing going on at the end of this race.
Yep, and something else you had mentioned as well, Just Finney is chipping away at that band's lead. It was 1.6 and it's 1.2 now. If he gets in that DRS zone, it's probably going to be game over for Bance, but Bance, as we've seen before, he's going to put up a great fight. So as much as I want Bance to do well in this race, I do want to see a good battle. So hopefully Vinny does close that gap even more. Oh, I see.
Crimsonium lost it up the hill. Oh, Crimsonium, don't join the track like that. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that was so
if
close.
Only for the car ghosted, that was game over for Tats.
I'm sure Tats's heart is in his mouth currently.
So that wasn't the safest rejoin.
The motocross are now all over the back of Crimsonium as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so Crimsonium needs to tidy up a little, just a few things in terms of his racecraft and then a bit of knowledge as well. But otherwise, I think he should be all right if he just tidies a few of those wee things up.
Yeah, so we've seen quite a lot of drivers having issues in this race, and I found personally, just through practice, like if you start to lose focus, especially in sector 3, you're going to make a big mistake.
Sorry,
yeah,
Chief.
I saw that, yeah.
But also, Silver has got a time penalty.
Was it okay?
I think it's only 3 seconds. So
yeah, I can check that. That is 3 seconds. Yeah. Well, Bounce has got. That's strange, actually. But Sam Bounce has got 3 warnings, which is strange. I thought 3 warnings is.
Well, I think if he does it again, that'll be it. He'll get a time penalty. As
Oh,
Motocrosser is clutching Crimsonium here, but he's going to catch him at the end of the corner. Crimsonium moves to the inside, to the middle. But oh yeah! My goodness, you can't. Crimsonium, mate, listen, if you're watching, I'm enjoying watching you. And I like the way you defend them. But you can't move across people in the braking zone. You need to pick your spot and stick to it. Because that's going to end in disaster. Oh, we've
Jeremy's
lost
out.
Jeremy.
Where did he go off? It looks like sector 3 maybe, onto the straight.
Running on board with Inferno Koi to see if we can see him. Don't see. What's going on here? Inferno's almost stopping on track.
I wonder, maybe, was it, with the interval time, you have to keep it to a certain limit, maybe he just, yeah, sometimes I've done that myself, you build up a bit of an interval and then you have to kind of really slow the car down a lot. So I don't know where Jeremy went off there.
That's not boding well for Jeremy, because I think he's only had one race finish, which was a great podium. I think he got second or third. I think he got third. A great podium finish, but other than that, it's been DNFs. So
yeah, he's in chat saying GP2, GP2. But we're back on for the race. DRS is now enabled, and we've got a move happening on Onion Barge.
Yeah.
Is that Onion Barge?
It. Yeah, Onion Barge on Inferno Koi. No, it's not. Yeah, on Tats actually. So Onion Barge is trying to unlap himself.
Oh yes, that's what it is. Yeah, you're right. That can be very unnerving, especially if you're Tats and you see a faster guy who's been lapped already coming up behind you. It can get a bit hairy. Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. Apologies. But yeah, we're only got a few more laps to go, and this is kind of settled down now. This is kind of our, unless anything drastic happens, this is kind of our grid. The only thing I can see really happening here is Aaron, 22 lap old Hards. He will be. I wonder, is there any way you can see that? No, you can't. He will be like nursing those tires to the end, because I know I did it, and I think I had about just over the high 87%.
Yeah, and Iceland has a theory about what happened to Keeper Magnussen. He thinks he got a puncture and died in the pits.
So if Keyboard Magazine can report back to us, maybe in the chat, let us know what happened to you, man. We would always like to know what happens to the boys when they get DNFs. Motocrosser still hasn't got past Crimsonium for this P8, and he's running out of laps. Yeah, Silver's really. Yeah, sorry.
I'm just going to say Motocrosser has 80% in his ERS, whereas Crimsonian has 14. So I wonder if Motocrosser just saving it up for a final lap kind of showdown.
Well, yeah. I think he must be running in medium, the way it's going down. Realistically, here's another wee tip for anyone. Maybe they may say I'm wrong, but from what I've noticed anyway, hot lap and overtake mode, don't really need them. Overtake, yes, for obvious reasons, if you want maximum power, but generally I would go from run about high to none is generally where I would run on these tracks, and it has boded me pretty well in my racing. So hot lap maybe to catch up on someone or try and close a gap, but generally I just run no higher than high.
Yeah, so Motocrosser gets a really good run out here. I think Crimsonian not so good, so the DRS, and he's on overtake mode, so where's he going to go for the inside line? He goes for the outside line, and I think he's got the move done effectively. Oh no, once again was thinking about sticking a nose in there, but no, Motocrosser has made the move stick.
Another battle on track, Chief, for the last lap is Thimo. He is 0.3 of a second behind Vinny.
Oh, there's been an issue with Vinny then. So he's 17.7 behind Vance. What happened there? I wonder, has he got damage as well? There's definitely some issue with Vinny then, and Thimo is going to want that podium.
So if you don't mind, boys, I know we're not going to run on with Silver and Vance here, but this is the closest for the last corner, for the last section. Was Thimo going to make a lunge for it?
It's going to be tight. It's going to be very tight. I don't know if he's going to do it.
So
I mean, he
Vinny's going for the
really.
defensive move. It's going to compromise his line. I don't think he's going to have enough. Timo's going to go too deep. No, he's not going to get it done. He went too
Oh, and
deep.
Timo's under pressure from Mateus as well.
Oh, Mateus has got a better run than Timo. He's going to go down the middle. It's going to be a tight finish the line. Oh, and Timo just gets it.
Oh, nicely done by
Any,
Timo, but that was so close.
we've got another close battle here, Crimsonium. No, Motocrosser got a good line, good launch off the line. Anybody else? And that's it.
Yep, Netflix bringing in the points paying positions with P10 finish. Or sorry, Crimsonium
P11.
actually.
P11 for Verk as he crosses the line.
All right, so that's the time penalties are played out then. So Silver P1, Bance P2, and Vinny P3. I would love to find out what happened to Vinny. I wonder if he spun twice, he says in chat. I wonder if that was on that second last lap there or that last lap. But P3 with 2 spins isn't too bad from the man himself.
So it's a great result from Silver. That's going to, just strengthen his lead up at the top. If I can put the standings back up as they were. Where is it again? It's yeah, should be that there. Standings should be on the screen at the moment. That was before the race. So I'll take it back in again. So Onions taken and Aaron have taken a hit in the standings there with Bance and Silver and Timo. Oh, we got migrating host. So there we are here. Look at that. Matthias started P13 and he got up to P4.
Yeah,
That's a great result.
Yeah, I didn't really see that throughout the race. I mean, I wasn't really keeping a close enough eye on him, but yeah, that's amazing. 13.
So he must have done it in a lot on the pit stops. Thimo actually did pretty good there when you think that he qualified P4, he only lost one position. And Silver as well, starting P6 and getting the race win. So, I mean, I know we were supposed to pick a driver off the day.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough one for this one.
Yeah. Is what I would say to that. How do you pick between this?
Well, let's have a look. Silver P6 started, P1. He just dominated. I mean, he's the obvious pick, obviously, had a faultless race, but we do like to go for, some of the lower place drivers. Because, yeah, I like that underdog element. I think Vinny did well. I mean, he could have got it if it hadn't been for those spins in the last lap there.
Well, I mean, like I
that's
said,
tough one.
what stood out for me there was Matthias, starting 13, finishing, where was he? 5th?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really can't call it. I could not pick a driver of the day because there is too many to choose from. We'll have to leave.
I'm gonna ask Chad. I'll say
Let
I've
the
asked him
chat
for a
speak.
birthday. Who you got? But I'm reading Timo's put a comment saying I'm done with life.
Well, Timo, you shouldn't say that. You know what I mean? You only lost one position. You finished P5. It's a great result for him. For Timo, it'll strengthen his. Disconnected. So.
Right. Let's head over to the commentators booth and we'll bring in some drivers. What do you reckon?
Yeah, sure. So I have my own custom interview screen up because I don't have any of them mad ones that everyone else has. So I have an exploding star as the interview screen. And so we'll move over to the commentator booth and get some talking done. Here we are.
Hello. We've got Vinny in here as well. So how's it going, Vinny? How's your race?
Greetings. It was pretty boring, honestly. I thought more was gonna happen, but yeah, it was just basically just sitting behind Vance the whole race.
Yeah, you kind of chipping away at his lead a little bit, and then that I didn't catch that last incident you had. I saw you say you spanned twice. Was that on the penultimate lap?
Yeah, the lap right before. But yeah, I was getting close. Every time I'd get almost within a second, the safety car would come out, and then he'll get a little lead because of it. So I was just stuck there. And then I spun out, I think, on the back around turn 4, turn 5. I spun out and then I recovered. And the next turn I spun out again.
Oh dear. You were lucky to hold on to P3 then. So the Thimo was all over your gearbox at the end there.
I know. I didn't think I had that much of a gap behind me because last time I checked, he was 6 seconds behind. And then all of a sudden, he wasn't.
Yeah, and then qualifying. What happened in qualifying? Because I saw you retired early.
I just lost it around the last corner, smacked the wall.
Yeah, the conditions were horrible. I don't envy it at all.
Yeah, but I mean, it was all right. P9 to P23, it's fine.
Yeah, and we're kind of like talking about driver of the day, me and one beat, but we were. It's a hard one to call. I mean, if you watch the race back, it was a good race. It was very good, a lot of action, but it was one of those ones that was the driver of the day is not quite so obvious.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't think much happened where anyone kind of stood out, honestly.
yeah. So Tipsy, have you any questions you want to throw in?
Well, no, I was just adding a few pictures to the interview screen, so unfortunately, no, I
Oh,
don't.
yes. I see them, the bunny rabbit.
Well, hang on a minute. I've got. There we are.
Priorities. First, we sort out the bunny rabbit pictures. Then we speak to the drivers.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry,
with any,
this is the only break I've had all night, so apologies.
I think actually a lap 1 or 2, me and Tats kind of came together, but I don't think anything happened. So my bad, Tats, if it was my fault.
yeah, anyone watching, if you've any incidents to report, you know what to do. Tier 2 incident report channel, and FA will be all over that. Yeah, Vinny, I'm going to move out of chat, but thanks for joining us on the stream, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully, you can build on that P3 finish today.
It's gonna be a sequence of P3 finishes this season.
P3. I mean, you could probably win the championship with that if Silver wasn't dominating every bloody race.
And maybe if he falls into a black hole or something. Right?
Yeah, there's always a chance of that. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it. See you later.
Cool.
So Tipsy, we have Thimo and Silver on standby. Who do you want to bring in?
I think we'll leave Silver to the end, our race winner. So shall we bring in the Mr. Unhappy Thimo?
Yeah, I just put him into.
Hello.
I just moved him into Area 51 there, but.
Thimo.
Hello.
Wait a second. I have to mute the stream. Hello.
Timo, how did that go for you?
I am very, very torn. Like, I was very happy at the start when in the rain I for some reason finished P4, or like qualified P4. I was very happy about that. And then the race started and I got a very good start and I was very, very happy about that. And then I made so many mistakes and I was very not happy about that. And then I had kind of decent drive and I thought I'll settle for P5, I think it was. And then after Onion Baji disappeared with the drive-through, Aaron also disappeared because he hit the wall. And then I was on for P4 and I thought let's just drive. And then I realized, oh, it's Matthias behind me, and I've got a good track record of losing positions to Matthias on the last lap. Always happens to me. I don't know why. I think it also happened in Tussauds China, and it's I don't know what it is about the two of us, but he always snatches positions away from him, from me. And then I heard from Bans, who I was in voice with, that Vinny spun, and then I saw him, and he clearly had wing damage because it was going really slowly. And then everyone in voice was telling me, "Go for it." And I saw the chance for my podium. The problem is, as soon as I get under that pressure, I just start shaking and everything. Like, I literally could hear my heart beating. It was not very pleasant, I've got to say. And then, then the final corner happened, and I got a very bad run. While everyone in voice was telling me, "Why didn't you send it?" And then I cracked under pressure, you could say. And I kind of slipped away. And I had to run to the line with Matthias. And if you look at the screen, I clearly finished ahead of him.
Yes.
Like, I sent a screenshot. He told Silva, I think, that he finished visibly ahead of him.
No.
that I finished ahead of him. I added on my screen and on the spectator was as well. But the game thought I was fifth, so I'm very confused now. What should I feel? Should I be happy about P5 because it would be my best position? Should I be sad because it's P4 because it's not P4? I don't know. I'm very
Well,
torn.
I was actually running on board with you, Timo, on the very last couple of corners. And I was saying that, this is your chance. You're going to have to maybe try and send one in.
But that was
But
never the
yeah,
gap.
but the most important time would have been getting a good exit at the very last corner. But you kind of went a little bit too deep, which
Yeah.
compromised your racing, your traction off the line. That let Vinny get away. So then I quickly switched on the stream to Matthias. And on the stream, you can see that you finish ahead of Matthias as well. So I think that one is pretty clear. But
Wait, was it on your camera as well?
yeah, on my camera, yeah, on the stream, yeah.
Oh right. Oh right, you had the camera for the stream. Oh,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
controlling the
I thought it
stream,
was
yeah. So
Ocean.
I was actually
Okay.
on board. I was using the on-board camera of Matthias, and you could see your car cross the
Okay.
line first. So
I don't know if I wants to do something about it. I don't know. If we can't trust the results, I don't know what the hell that is.
But
It's-
overall, Timo, I think you should be pretty happy with your race. I mean, you had a kind of a dogged time last time out in Baku, and to get in the top 5 in Spain, which is a tricky track because I did see you were having some issues in terms of the traction out of some corners. You almost lost the back end, but you weren't the only one. There was quite a few drivers doing that, but you held it together and you finished pretty high. I think you should be you should be proud of yourself.
I think all in all, I'm very happy. It's just it's just the thing that my mind does. As soon as I think I can reach some position, I'm not satisfied if I don't reach that position. That's and in the end, I thought I could reach P3, and then I didn't get P4 even. So that's kind of a bummer. But yeah. And also the first reaction over the line was maybe me standing up and shouting "fuck" fudge,
Ay, ay.
like 5 times in a row. Maybe people had a laugh at it. I don't know. It was an exciting race for sure.
Well, like I said, I did run on board with you a few times, and it was very interesting and exciting to watch just how you were kind of processing it in your mind because from knowing you, I know you'd probably be kicking yourself during the race, but at the start of the race, you actually went into P1. How did that happen?
Okay, so basically, I was very lucky there because, it's just that moment. I mean, I already had a good qualifying, so I was very hyped at that start, and I was already shaky there. And so you sit there and you see the 5 lights, and you just wait for that for it to you see something moving in the middle of the screen, the lights in the normal case, and then you just release your clutch and you go, and you try to do it as quick as possible. But the thing I saw going off wasn't the lights, it was Onion Baji. And then I immediately released my clutch and thought, damn it, I just jump started. But in the second, the lights went off, so
Yeah.
I kind of I would have jump started, but it was so late that I got the perfect launch off the line, and Bans told me that he didn't have it in a high ERS mode for some reason, so that's why I even managed to jump him. So I would say I was very lucky there, but I don't know.
Well, I think
It was pretty funny.
I think all in all, you had a really great race. So don't be down on yourself. P5 or P4, regardless, is a good result in Spain. So well done, man.
Yeah, good job, man. And in the last game, I know there was an achievement you would unlock if you got a lightning fast start. Like it was some crazy amount to start, but the only way you could do it really was the way you described. You think you're jump starting, but you just managed to nail it right on the time. So I think if it had been F1 2018, you probably would have unlocked that achievement.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't think it exists for F1 2019. But yeah, good race, Timo. It was great to see.
Yeah, thanks.
I think you're doing really well in Tier 2 this season, and I hope you stick it through to the rest of the season.
Yeah.
You're doing pretty well in the standings as well, as we mentioned previously as well.
I feel pretty confident right now because, I mean, I'm in that kind of position right now where I can do little to no practice, and then just practice, like put in like laps 2 hours before the race goes, and I'm somewhat confident on the track. I don't spin and that stuff, and I'm quick. So that's very cool, and that's the spot where I want to be. It's I'm very happy right now with how things are going.
Well, that's what we want to hear. We want happy drivers. That's the aim.
Happy drivers, happy league.
Happy drivers, happy league. Yes.
Happy days. Right, Timo, I'm going to move you out here because we've got to
Yes.
speak to the race winner, and also I want to bring Bance in for a chat.
But just
So
before we do that, just apologise. Anyone is watching for any swearing. It is
I'm
live,
sorry.
so it's okay, Timo. But it is
Forgot it.
live, so it's we can't predict what these guys are going to say.
We're normally child friendly.
Yeah.
the return of the potty mouth.
Potty mouth part 2, electric boogaloo.
Right, Timo, I will catch you on the other side, okay? Cheers for joining us on the stream.
Yeah, cheers.
And we'll bring in the race winner. I also want to speak to his band as well. He had a really impressive
Yeah.
race. I'm guessing it was a bit of a uneventful race for Bance, but it was a solid performance from him. But joining us right now, we got Silver, the race winner, and a dominant race performance from him. How was the race from your point of view? Was it a boring one, or was it exhilarating?
It was pretty hectic at the start. I got a good start. I was next to Luck, I think. But at the breaking point, Keyboard Magnussen dived me kind of on the inside. So I went a bit wide, but I had to leave space for Luck. But yeah, we were three cars wide, and then we had to switch to turn 2. And there was a little bit of contact. Yeah, I think I hit it Keyboard Magnussen a bit because I wanted to leave space as well for Luck. So sorry for that. Yeah, and for the rest, it was pretty nice. I just followed the leaders for a while. Some pitted, and then I was catching bands at the end before my stop, and yeah, that was pretty much it.
Well, no one likes to see a driver crash out, but I'm sure, Silver, when you see Aaron in the wall, you're bound to have thought, this could be my race here. I have a chance at winning this. And then, of course,
Yeah,
when Onion Barge had the jump start as well, that freed up two of your main competitors.
Yeah, when I saw Aaron spinning, I was like, oh, unlucky. But then there was also a moment like, I can win this race now.
And what about Matez? Like, during the race, he's your brother and also teammate. Do you guys talk during the race, or?
We talked a bit, not really that much because we were on different strategies. Because I was more in front pushing and he was just following, I think. I don't really know what happened in the midfield, but I know he did really well.
Yeah, I think he is a driver of the day contender, a strong one at that. I think we are going to give it to him. I don't know, Tipsy, you agree? Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was the first standout one for me. The guy that just jumped out, on the screen from qualified P13 to get P4, in a hectic race. I think it's I think he's the one that I would give it to, Matthias or Matthias. I think I'm saying that right.
Silver is the guy.
It doesn't really matter, I think.
Yeah, so Silver, that another dominant performance from yourself. We're looking at the standings there before the race, and I think, I mean,
put them back up again.
Currently you're P2, but Onion Barge had a woeful performance. He had a jump start there, had to serve that penalty in, and he had a few other issues during the race. So he
Silver will be on 75 points now with the 25-point win.
Yeah, so you're gonna, and I think you got the fast lap as well, didn't you?
No, Onion
Barge did. Yeah.
Oh, Onion Barge. So I wonder if he finished in the top 10. But yeah, I think that's gonna put you in P1, and obviously you guys got the constructors. Like, you're dominating the constructors right now, and I'm sure that P1 and was it P4 then for Mateus? Yeah. That's really going to cement your domination of the constructors right now. So good job all round to the both of you. And Tipsy, unless you've got any further questions, I think we'll
No,
wrap it up. Yeah.
no. That's all from me with silver.
Okay, Silver. Well, thanks again. I know you hosted that one. I appreciate that, and also,
Yeah, no problem, man.
yeah, a good job on the win, and thanks for joining us on the stream. We'll catch you later. Okay.
Yeah, see ya.
Okay, and last but definitely not least, we have the man from Span,
Hello, gamers.
The Spaniard.
Spaniardo. How's it going, Bance? How was your race?
Design.
Yeah, was it a bit of a boring one for you? I mean, it looked like it was a bit of a boring one.
Oh, no, I had fun. I had a lot of fun actually. Mainly listening to Thimo rage on Discord.
You had a great battle with Aaron at the start.
I don't remember. Did I?
Yeah.
Was
You guys were changing positions quite regularly.
Yeah, I think the first bunch of laps, yeah, you guys were going back and forth, yeah. And I mean, say at the very start, you know, you got Timo was just ahead of you. Was there a bit of team orders there where he let you pass, or was that, you know?
No, not at all.
Right.
I mean, Milos was in there, my race engineer, of course. It was giving out the quotes, and Timo was then repeatedly saying the quotes of not doing team orders. So,
But I think you can see on the stream he didn't really make it too difficult for you, so he kind of like let you go as well.
I mean, I think it's a common sense thing
Yeah.
when you have so much overspeed that defending is just costing you time. So there's no point, really. I mean, I would have been surprised if he tried to defend, but I don't think it would have done anything because I would have gotten to the corner before him anyway. So.
He's saying in chat here, they told me to let him pass 4 times, then I got a bad run. So.
Yeah, just memeing. Milos. So, yeah, you know, that was that. I don't know if you saw my amazing start, but
Yes,
I'm not used to being first, like leading in formation laps, so I turned my ERS completely off. And I forgot to turn it on again, so I was halfway down the straight. I was wondering how did that happen, because I thought I got off the start really well. Not as well as Onion Badge, but pretty well. And then all of a sudden, everyone started coming at me. I'm like,
Oh dear.
So yeah, that didn't really make a difference to the race.
And then you were
Still
under a
was
lot of
fast.
pressure from Vinny. You know, the final half of the race, I would say he was kind of chipping away at that lead a wee bit, and then he had an incident in the last few laps. But were you feeling the pressure from Vinny? Because he was kind of getting close to that DRS range.
I mean, I wasn't where he was there, that's for sure. I was just doing my thing. I mean, it was. I don't know. I don't think about pressure that way. For me, it was just kind of obviously hoping it wouldn't get there, but like, you know, if he was to, then that's just unlucky. I wasn't, you know, gonna get myself forced into a crash or something, because that would be a shame. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. He was quicker than me, that's for sure. I was improving my PB by 2/10 every single lap on the last 10 laps. I was pushing as much as I could, and it was like right on my delta the entire time, or like half a tenth faster lap, or like, you know, just kind of chipping away. And I was like, well, if he does make a mistake, then that would be difficult.
Yeah, I find it, I don't know about you, but I find it demoralizing when you're really pushing, you're putting in PBs, and the guy's still behind you, catching you, and you're going like, what do I got to do here, you know?
Can't get rid of this guy.
I don't think I can really complain about like these kind of things in my situation. I'm really, really happy with P2. I don't.
No, you did good. It's worth mentioning as well, Bance, that, you know, that you're completely no assist, where a lot of these guys, I would say probably most of these guys, maybe Timo's an exception, but most of these guys are running assists of some kind or another. So you're pretty much at a disadvantage from the get-go, and you're solidly putting in these great performances. I mean, I'm just looking at the standings, and you've placed 3rd, 8th, and I can't read that one.
I have it here. Hang on, I'll stick it back up again.
3rd, 8th, and 5th, and a DNF in Baku. So you get 29 points. But today's P2, that's going to really do wonders for your points tally, I think.
Where am I at the moment?
You're P5, is it?
5. You're 5th. Timo is just behind you.
So I think you could move up to P4 potentially, yeah. Potentially.
Do you know what? He will, because Ag finished really low down, and then Bance finished second, so that would give him 18 points. Yeah, so oh yeah, he's going to jump Ag. He's going to jump Aaron. So Bance has moved up to P4, and I think Thimo may even jump him as well. I think Ag may have dropped down to P6.
Okay, McLaren looking strong here, putting in a strong run here. Early days in the season.
There is, of course, a much stronger version of the McLaren, but we'll leave that for another time.
Oh.
That is very true. I mean, obviously in SLR the car's not as developed, so
That's
we
right.
do have an inherent disadvantage. But you know, we worked around it today. So clearly Silver's car was the fastest. You know, completely discrediting Silver. Yeah, he did nothing. I'm joking. Good job, Joe. It was way too quick. I thought I was kind of on pace with him before the pit stop, but when we switched tires, there was just nothing I could do, really. It was like 3/10 faster every single lap, and I could do nothing against it. So that was good job from him.
Well, overall, I think it was a very good race, enjoyable to watch. At the very beginning, it was really hard to keep track of everything that was happening because there was just so much action, which is kind of what we want. But near the end of the race, it kind of leveled out, and you could kind of predict the final positions. Although near the end, we thought Thimo was going to maybe get Vinny, but that was not to be, unfortunately.
Oh, he was so mad.
Yes.
He was so mad. Oh, but man, we were laughing our asses off. Nothing against him, but it was really funny.
Hopefully recorded it so you can upload and give me a chortle later on.
I'm just supporting my teammate.
Of course. Yeah, so I mean, I think that's pretty much it, Tipsy. We've had a few driver interviews. We've called the race. I think we deserve to get a cup of tea. What do you reckon?
Well, I think my first professionally run stream, I'm quite chuffed that it's went reasonably seamless.
Yes.
With only one swear word in it.
Yeah. Well, the stream's not over yet.
That's not over yet. Yeah.
That's like a red flag to a bull right there.
But yeah, I think I will probably end the stream soon because I actually, whenever I'm doing the streaming here, I have my headset on, and anyone that knows me would know that I absolutely detest headsets. It's like a vice crushing my head. So for my own sanity, I think I'm going to sign off soon. Unless you boys have got anything else you want to add on.
I would just say smash that like button and subscribe to the EGL channel and support SLR and 2SRL. Almost got that wrong.
Yeah,
That to a SRL Discord server. Thank you.
well, yeah, I'll just actually finish up with the because I like all these wee graphics that I've got here with the calendar. So with five races down, up next week, 8th of August,
Oh, no.
Monaco.
Oh, don't say the M word.
Monaco, baby. It's going to be Monaco. It's going to be carnage. It's going to be mayhem. That's going to be one to tune in for. I mean, whenever you look at the upcoming races, Monaco, Canada, France, Austria, Silverstone, Germany, Hungary, I mean, we're getting into the real heart of the season now when these are just one epic race after the other. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know how it's going to end up because at the beginning it looked like Ag was the guy that was going to take it in Australia, and then Onion Bar just popped up and stuck in 2 race wins, and then he didn't start in the final race there. And then in this race we've got them both finishing pretty low, and Silver and Bance finishing high, taking the fight. So this has went from like initially a 1-horse race to potentially a 3 to a 4-horse race, and we're only in round 5. I mean, this is really heating up this tier 2, and it's really pushing I think it's really pushing the tier 1 boys in terms of just potential for the on-track action and how many potential winners we could have. So I'm really fired up for the rest of the season going forward. I don't know what you think about that, Chief.
Yeah, it's developing quite nicely. I mean, it has been a bit messy in the initial races, and some of the initial races are, they have huge potential for that. Australia, Baku, and well, we've got Monaco coming up. So, That's going to be another smash hit, I reckon.
That's gonna be fantastic.
I might just sit that one out and pretend it didn't
If
happen.
people break like in Baku, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's there's nowhere to go. If you crash, it's carnage.
But
And
I don't think that you will be joining me next week, will you, Chief? I think it'll be normality will be resumed with its Triton. Is that correct?
yes, I think so. And you got return tomorrow for the F2 race, is that
Oh
correct?
yes, that's right. The what time is it? 6 o'clock our time, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
It is tight for me trying to get home because I usually don't get home until around 5:30. But as it stands, people, yes, I will be doing the live stream, and as we can see, it does work. Of course, with the help with Bance, he helped me with getting this thing up and running. That means then the Chief will be able to race, so he will be able to join his teammate Wemby in tomorrow's race in Formula 2, which is, do you know where the race is, Chief? Where you're racing?
Tomorrow is Baku, yeah.
Oh, Baku on the Formula 2 cars is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's super fun. I had a go last night. Bounce was in the session as well, and I enjoyed it a lot. It's a different experience completely. It is a bit slower, but the feeling in the cars is a lot better, I think, than, well, personally for me anyway, than the F1 cars. You get a lot more feedback from the cars, and I enjoy that a lot.
Well, I don't know if my co-commentator has been set up just as yet, but we'll get that sorted out in time for the stream tomorrow. But I think that is pretty much all we have got left to say about today's race. It was a great race. Looking forward to next week in Monaco. And if you're all right with that, Chief, I think I'll sign off with that.
Yep.
All right, people. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow for the Formula 2 race, 6 o'clock.
Later.